Let's be real for a second. Have you ever felt like you're just starting your day with an almost empty battery? Like you're constantly running on fumes? Well, you are definitely not alone. It kind of feels like the whole world is in the middle of one big collective yawn. So in this explainer, we're going to figure out why we're all so exhausted and, more importantly, what we can actually do about it. Okay, let's dive in. Does this sound a little too familiar? You wake up, but you don't actually feel rested. Then, that afternoon slump hits you like a ton of bricks. And by the time the evening rolls around, the idea of going out with your friends, it just sounds more exhausting than fun. If you're sitting there nodding along right now, stick around. This is for you. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at just how big this problem is with the global yawn. Then I'll introduce you to a brilliant way of thinking about energy called the spoon theory. We'll name and shame our modern energy thieves, and then we'll get to the good stuff, a 5-part formula for peace and how you can start reclaiming your energy, or as we're going to call them, your spoons. First things first, let's get one thing straight, because it's super important. If you're tired all the time, it is not a personal failure. This has nothing to do with being lazy. This is a modern, totally widespread phenomenon. We are living in the age of the global yawn. I mean, just look at these numbers. They're pretty staggering. Around the world, 1 in 5 adults is dealing with long-term fatigue. It's so common in the UK that their National Health Service even has a name for it, TAAT, which literally stands for tired all the time. And in the US, almost half the population feels sleepy most days of the week. So, yeah, it's a collective thing for sure. So, why? What's going on? Well, let's do a quick comparison. 100 years ago, life was way more physically demanding, no doubt, but it was mentally simpler. You woke up with the sun, your world was pretty local, and you weren't getting notifications about something stressful happening halfway across the planet. Today, our bodies might be chilling on the couch, but our brains? Our brains are running a marathon, 24/7, and there's no finish line in sight. To really get a handle on this, we need a new way to think about our energy. And that's where this brilliant idea called the spoon theory comes into play. Seriously, it's a powerful metaphor that might just completely change how you manage your day. The theory itself is super simple. Just imagine that you wake up every morning with a set number of spoons, let's say 12. Every single thing you do, from taking a shower to answering a stressful email, costs you a spoon. Now, this idea actually started in the chronic fatigue community as a way to explain the tough choices they have to make every day. And it turns out it's an incredibly useful tool for all of us. Let's see how this actually plays out in a day. You start with your 12 spoons. A quick shower, that's 1 spoon gone. That super intense meeting where you really had to be on, boom, that's 3 spoons easy. A trip to the chaotic, noisy grocery store, that's a whopping 4 spoons. By the time you've made dinner, you're down to just 2 spoons left. It's no wonder you have absolutely nothing left in the tank for hobbies or your family or just relaxing. So let's just pause here for a second. Take a look at this number. If you knew you only had 12 spoons to spend tomorrow, how would you use them? What things are absolutely essential, and what could you maybe let go of? Thinking this way forces you to prioritize your energy, not just your time. It's a game changer. Okay, so if we've only got a limited number of spoons, the big question is, where are they all going so fast? It's time to identify the main culprits. Let's talk about our modern energy thieves. And here they are, the usual suspects. First, information overload. Every single notification, every email, every post you scroll past, it steals a tiny piece of your mental energy. Then there's decision fatigue. We make thousands of tiny little decisions every day, and each one costs a spoon. And all of this leads to brain chemistry overload. Think of your brain like a computer with way too many tabs open. It starts to slow down, it gets glitchy, and eventually it just wants to shut down. Okay, let's get a little scientific, but I'll keep it simple. Your brain has an accelerator pedal, a neurotransmitter called glutamate. It helps you focus and process things. But when you slam that pedal to the floor for too long, you get brain fog and burnout. At the exact same time, you have this sleepy signal called adenosine that builds up all day long, telling your brain, hey, it's time to rest. It's basically your brain's brake pedal. So where does our beloved coffee fit into this? Well, caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It's more like a clever trick. It works by blocking those adenosine receptors, basically hitting the mute button on your brain's I'm tired signal. It's a great temporary fix, but that sleepy signal is still building up in the background, just waiting to hit you like a wave once the caffeine wears off. All right, that's enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. How do we start protecting our spoons and maybe, just maybe, even earn a few back? The answer comes from a really powerful holistic approach. The whole framework for this solution is captured by a single beautiful Turkish word, huzur. Huzur means more than just peace. It's this deep sense of inner tranquility and calm, which is exactly what we're missing when we feel totally burnt out. And lucky for us, it gives us a fantastic acronym to work with. The 5 pillars of this formula spell out HUZU. So H is for harakat, our movement. U is for uyku, which is sleep. Z is for zaman, or time management. The second U stands for uyum, or harmony with your body's natural rhythm. And R is for routine, as in routine nutrition. These 5 pillars all work together to build a solid foundation for energy that actually lasts. So let's break that down real quick. For movement, you don't need to go run a marathon. A simple 30-minute walk can be unbelievably powerful. For sleep, consistency is king. It's often more important than the total hours. For time, try scheduling your hardest tasks when you naturally have the most energy. For harmony, figure out if you're a morning person or a night owl and lean into it. Work with your body, not against it. And for routine, just focus on balanced meals to avoid those crazy blood sugar crashes. And here's a fantastic science-backed pro tip you can try this afternoon. It's called the coffee nap. You drink a cup of coffee and then immediately, and I mean immediately, take a 20-minute power nap. What happens is brilliant. That short nap helps clear out all that sleepy adenosine from your brain. Then, right as you're waking up, the caffeine starts to kick in, blocking any new adenosine from taking over. It is a 1-2 punch for a massive energy boost. Okay, so we've covered the problem, the metaphor, the causes, and a solid framework for the solution. But now comes the most important part. It's time to shift from just understanding all this stuff to actually doing something with it. It's your turn. So if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Stop thinking of your fatigue as some kind of character flaw. It's not weakness, it's not laziness, it is a biological signal, just like hunger or thirst. Your body is communicating with you. It's asking for a change, and your only job is to learn how to listen to it. So, I'll leave you with this question. Tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up with a fresh set of 12 spoons. Knowing everything you know now, what choices are you going to make? How will you invest that precious energy to build a life that feels less draining and, well, a lot more peaceful? The power to decide is all yours.